Hello, 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 Cancers. Welcome, welcome. How you feeling today? Happy solar eclipse. Boy, there's energies. If you're feeling a little rocky, a little shaken, a little frustrated. It lasted for only a short time. However, many of us probably started their day out that way. And so if you had a lot of problems today, this is being recorded on the 10th of June. So if you're watching this recorded and you had some problems on the 10th, that is the solar eclipse. Let me tell you, along with the Mercury retrograde and the Pluto retrograde and the Saturn retrograde, but Mercury and the Solstice really had just a lot of energies today, and more low vibrational energies. So bear with me because mine energies have been thrown off pretty much all morning. I've started out with early phone call and not a good phone call. So sadly, it was a very sad phone call. So and the day just kept going. So let's just keep thinking, lifting up, thinking positive, bringing joy back into the day. If this is you, Cancers, make sure that you're lifting yourself up, trying to find something positive in the day. And if you're watching this beyond the 10th and you're still having one of those days, you got to lift yourself up and allow things to flow in the positive manner, the light vibrations rather than the low vibrations coming in. All right. So this reading here, for those of you that are brand new, is a divine intuitive reading. What that means is my energies are pulled from the divine. My focus is from the divine. My intuition and everything that happens is from the divine, the source. You'll hear readers say, oh, I got a download or I got a message. Well, mine is from divine for sure, or maybe one of your ancestors or the angelic realm. I couldn't tell you. Only one I do know the voice of is divine. So, and when he calls, I jump. So let's get started. So this is the 10th through the 14th. So the first card, for those of you that are brand new, I'm using 3 oracles for the theme. First oracle is divine. So if you have a message or you're trying to figure something out, you're on the fence, you're going through a struggle, you're going through a challenge, you're asking God or divine for something, hopefully this will help you because this is his card. So the Raven is about your synchronistic events, your destiny, things that are happening in your life. Things are actually changing for you. Something is coming to an end. This is not about coincidence. This card says coincidence and magic. I don't believe in coincidence. I believe things happen for a reason. The divine interacts with our life for a reason, or he gives us free will and doesn't interact so that we can make our own choices and decisions. Okay. The magic would be a miracle to me. Magic would be something where the divine actually intervenes. Okay, so magic to me is divine intervention, and coincidence is miracles or divine intervention again, and the synchronistic events is about your destiny. So something is coming to an end with a process or a cycle or something of that nature. The Raven is usually about bringing a message, something of that. So again, this is the divine's card. This may be a message for you from him. I'm not quite sure. It is all what's going on in your journey. The spider is the current energy for the week. That's the 14th through the 20th. This is about your creative process and projects and things the way that you think. It's sort of like how you think about solutions, how you create solutions for problems that you have. And again, this is the divine saying, hey, let me help you with that. I'm better at solving problems than you are because I've done it for millions of years. So this is sort of a creative aspect. This may be something where you have to lean outside yourself and either ask for help. Again, this is about your harmony, your improvement in improving yourself, your spiritual self, your mind process, that kind of a thing. All right. And as we look at the spider, a lot of it, when he tells me look at the spider, it's not about the spider themselves. It's about what they're doing and what they're growing and what they're expanding, because a web can be as small as a space needs to be or as big and limitless as a space needs to be. And it can happen really fast. Divine is all about being fast if it's the right thing, or he will be as slow can be and delay things if you want him to delay things if it's not the right timing. Okay, thank you for that. That was beautiful. Future energy, which I usually say is planetary, because planetary is our planets, and we've got 2 retrogrades going on right now. And until the 22nd, we got 1 more week of this Mercury retrograde. It sucks, let me tell you. The communication and the things I'm hearing, there's so much. People just need to step back and wait and be patient and say, you know what, I'm not doing anything, saying anything, going to get in a fight or anything until after the 22nd, because the energies will change. All right. But this is your future card. Again, this is for about the next month. Somebody out there, this is 9, 10, 11, so this is the number 4. This is going to bring balance back in your life. But somebody out there needs to either give forgiveness, or somebody's going to come to you and ask for forgiveness. I don't know which one that is. However, we all have somebody we need to forgive. It's our stubbornness that chooses not to do so. And our hurt and our pain that chooses us not to do so. So we do have something coming to an end, whatever that cycle is. That could be a good thing, or it could be something that you would like to see continuing going on. However, it's a good thing that it's coming to an end, because anything in our purpose and our callings doesn't last. Some people think, oh, you know, what is our purpose on life, on earth here? What is our purpose? You know, that kind of a thing. However, our purpose is for whatever it is at that moment. Now, did I just blow some people's minds? Because a lot of people think that purpose is for a lifetime. Not necessarily. That's a very, very small percentage of people that do it for a lifetime. Like Mother Teresa, she was a servant to the poor for a lifetime. That's rare. Most of the time, our purpose and calling is for several different things, and depends on our journey in our life at where we're at, what our purpose and our calling is. All right. So things do change. All right. But forgiveness, I do know it's extremely hard to do in a lot of cases. Forgiveness for me, I had to forgive my sexual abuser. I had to forgive the person who murdered my brother. And I don't say had to, it's a choice. This is a choice. But my healing was able to completely heal after I forgave. And that is probably one of the hardest things to do. Here's another thing. We sometimes have to forgive ourselves. Woo! You know why? Because we will do things and beat ourselves up over and over and over, when you have to think, would I have done that if I really had the knowledge or the foresight to see the second dimension? And you're like, what the heck are you talking about? Well, what I mean by, okay, for example, I could beat myself up over my dog's death. Okay, we had a dog. She was going downhill, but what I didn't realize was how closed up her throat was getting. And at one point in time, she was coming to not to the end. She still had life in her. She still wanted to be here. 2, 4, 6. But we went to the movie one night, and I thought, you know what? She probably would like to chew on the bone. So I gave her the bone while we were gone. Came home, but the whole bone was gone. Now, she's a little pug, tiny little thing. And the bone was probably a good 4 inches, 5 inches. But the bone was gone. I thought, that couldn't be. She couldn't have swallowed. She couldn't have eaten that whole thing, right? So then I could hear, and she used to have breathing problems being a pug. So she would sometimes go, and so I thought, okay, she's having some breathing problems. Little did I know that bone was stuck in her throat. So I called the vet immediately, and I said, hey, what, she's got this thing, I think, caught in her throat. I'm not quite sure, because now it's almost midnight. And he said, can she drink water? I said, yeah, she's been drinking water. Can she breathe? And I'm like, yeah, she should be okay. Bring her in the morning. And in the morning, at 6:30 in the morning, I get up to cook or get breakfast and everything going. And of course, she's getting excited. She wants to eat, right? but she's still doing the kind of noise. I'm like, "Are you got that still stuck down there?" And so as she gets excited, she wants to eat. Well, that makes her breathing a little bit heavier. And before I know it, she's starting to waver. Okay. And then before I know it, she's headed back to the bedroom and she's wavering. I'm like, we're going to lose her. So I pick her up. I yell at my daughter to get out of bed. We get in the car. We race to the emergency for her because I'm thinking she's not. I'm holding her where she can breathe. And she passes away in my arms. Not less than 1 minute away. We were at a stoplight to turn into the vet. I wanted my daughter to run it, but that was busy traffic, and she died. So we get her. We try to do a CPR, get the bone out, but she was gone. I could beat myself up over and over and over. It was my fault. I gave her the bone. I did this. However, and I could have taken her to the vet. However, I'm going by somebody else. If I had seen that if she was going to die in my hindsight, I'm not that clairvoyant. I am clairvoyant for other people, not for me. But the thing is, if I could have seen that, do you think I would have ran her to the vet? Of course. But I was going by what the vet said, emergency vet said. We cannot predict the future. Some of us possibly, very, very small percentage. However, but we can have somewhat of an intuition, understanding, sometimes clairvoyance. Clairvoyance is usually not for us, it's for somebody else. But would I have done it in hindsight? Would I have not given her the bone? Of course I wouldn't. And the thing is with this soulless eclipse today, it is massively messing up with people. And if we can't do that to ourselves, guys. We cannot do that to ourselves. So Cancers, whatever's going on, and I know something is going on big with some of you, you cannot do the if onlys. I learned this from victim services when my brother was murdered. You cannot do the if onlys. All right. It will eat you up and everything. Just, you've got to learn that things happen for a reason. If we had a hindsight that we could see the future, we would not do it. It's our ignorance not to see the future, but to accept what is happening at the moment for a reason and for good. Okay. And you can always, always, always email me if you have questions about that, or if you want to share your story. Okay, so let's get back to your reading. I don't know why. I guess he's got me really in a weird mood today. Really weird. I haven't been in this weird place in a long time. Okay, so somebody's energy in their past is definitely a lot of fighting. So we have the 5 of Wands in reverse. A lot of fighting. Again, this has been a really big card for people. The future card, or the current card, actually, this is a current card, excuse me, is that you're not getting enough rest. You're really paying attention too much of the problems rather than the solutions, of letting it to go, letting it to release, letting it to allow things to just happen. It's really hard because we want to have control of certain things. Okay. So one of the things that you're really good at for somebody is holding it in, where nobody can actually see it. You make things look, well, I wouldn't say that's a good trait, but it is a good trait, I guess, to a point. Especially if you're like in public speaking, or if you're in a position where people are watching you, expecting certain things from you. It'd be like, politicians and actors and actresses and people out in the public eye, that you have to hide some of your pain, some of your sorrow, some of your troubles, some of your fights, some of your things that are happening in your life. You have a good way of not just blurting them out and sharing them. You fake it until you make it. You go out there and smile and yes, and then you go home and cry your eyes out. Okay, you're very good at that. But the other thing too is that you you have a very high natured spirit of being very positive, very uplifting. Somebody is definitely creative in how they make people or how you lift others up. This is somebody's definitely positive parts of them. These are things that help you get through your life, things that help you get through your problems and your struggles. But don't forget, you are human, and it is okay to cry. It is okay to have an emotional side to you. Even men, a lot of men will do that in their private and nobody around, but they are human. You men are human just like women. We're more emotional, but men are human. We all cry, we all get sad, we all have challenges, we all have fears, we all have sorrows, we all have all that kind of stuff. So make sure that you allow yourself. You're very, very good and strong at these things, of being joyful and lifted up. But you know what? A person that is positive 24/7, I really, that person makes me a little bit nervous because they're not being the true self. It's like my daughter basically saying, "Mom, I've never seen you cry." This was years ago when I wouldn't cry in front of her. And she would say, "I never see you cry." And I'm like, "Because I have to show I'm strong. I have to show that, and she goes, "But you're not human then." This is a little girl with actually ancient wisdom. She even was speaking in Old English when she was like 4 years old. So I don't know what soul she's got in her, but she was definitely somebody of the ancient times and lots of old wisdom. Oh my goodness, this girl has old wisdom. Person, really going through a lot. Anyway, so we have the the Seven of Swords in reverse, and then we have the Five of Swords in the upright. Okay, these are qualities that hinder. So a lot of the times, again, if we go into that positive, this can be sort of a moodiness. And Cancers, you can get moody, and that's typical for your sign. However, it can be really confusing to a lot of people because they don't know how to read you. Okay. So you can sometimes come out really strong, like you got a real strong backbone and you're going to, fight the world. And then on the next hand, it's like, okay, well, you know what, screw that. Why would I do that? Because you know what, everything's just going to come to an end anyway. It's sort of like this roller coaster ride that you're on. And this is a roller coaster ride that you put yourself through, which is not necessary. However, until you realize that you are on a roller coaster, you can't fix it. Okay, so your challenge card is the Knight of Swords. So I don't think this is really a Cancer trait. However, for some of you, it might be. So the way I call this card a challenge card is things to sort of avoid is rushing into something without thinking it first. A lot of Cancers are very realist or very logical. And so you really thinking about it before you go into it is really what you want to do. So for those Cancers that actually just rush into something without thinking, this is time to put the brakes and sort of slow the horse down. Pull the reins, get the horse to slow down to a walk, not a gallop, and see where it goes. Because a lot of the times what we want to do is these synchronistic events, our destiny, basically the dots to dots that connect things to the next journey or next calling or purpose that we have, is about connecting those dots. However, how can you connect them or figure it out if you're always rushing into something? It's like you don't think and you do it, and then you're like, man, I should have thought about this first. So that's the challenge for you. And your challenge also too is somebody definitely for your future energy will not give up this side of you that will forgive somebody. It's like you just won't do it. And you're going to have to look way back to your core to ask why you are being prideful and stubborn not to forgive somebody. Oh, because they hurt me. Well, yeah, they probably hurt a lot of people. However, it's like my abuser and my brother's murderer. My abuser, I had to go through the process of being angry. I had to go through the process of grief and crying and all that kind of stuff. I had to go through that process. But at the end of the day, I feel sorry for them. They're a freaking mess. They're freaking, sick to do that. And you know what? Their brokenness is 10 times worse than mine. So I really actually forgave them because they, as as Jesus says, forgive them, they know not what they do. When he hung on the cross, his last words, forgive them, for they know not what they do. They do not know what they do because they're so, the demons are so on them. The low vibrations are so on them. They are so bound that it's sick and they need healing. Okay. So I don't know where I got off on that. I guess forgiveness. Sorry about that. I don't know who that's for. So somebody needs to have a burden release. Definitely. We got another number 10 here. This is the Raven again talking. To release the burden so that you can be offered the world. Release the burden. And how to release that burden? One, for your future energy is to forgive. Two is to stop being somebody you're not and be that fun, loving, caring, empathetic person that you are, because that person's in there, rather than being hard and fake, or also too being, oh, so happy all the time. It's not that, that's not the way life is. Oh yeah, yes, you can be happy, but you don't have to overdo it. You just be happy. Be the authentic you. Because in the number, let's see, we got 21, number 3, we have to acknowledge. We can have the world. We can have realistically the world that we want. However, you got to release the burdens first. And the only way to release those is spiritually. Otherwise, if you release them and you're like, oh yeah, I took care of that, then they will come back. They will come back because you're trying to release them worldly. You got to release them spiritually. And then it goes into the atmosphere and the energy, and they don't come back. Worldly always comes back. You got a problem? Say you're struggling with finance and struggling with money, and you always got a problem with money. The reason why is you keep spending it. Okay, worldly. If you were to say, okay, I need to save money, Divine, can you help me have the strength and energy not to spend this money? He will give you that strength and energy. Been there, done that. Give me $100 and I'll have a nickel in my pocket before the end of the day. Worldly. Right now, I got money saved up like no tomorrow because I'm working on a different realm. I'm working spiritually. Because he's got something coming and I need that for whatever's coming. I don't know what it is, but it's something fairly big. So I just keep it there. But it is all about, and if you just say, well, yeah, I work 2 jobs, I work 3 jobs, I can't even save anything. You can save. Don't get me started. You can save. It's all about how we outlive our expenditures. Our expenditures, what do you call it? Live above our means. And I used to live above my means all the time. I don't do that anymore. And it's hard. And I had to sacrifice. And there were a lot of tears. And I had to give up my horse. My dog is gone. I don't have anything animal-wise other than a rabbit now. Do you know that rabbits are more expensive than dogs to have? Let me tell you. My rabbit is more expensive than any dog that I've ever had. So if you want a rabbit, they're considered exotic. Think twice. Get a hold of me. Okay, so 10 of Wands and the World. So he wants you to release those burdens. Again, you have to look at the synchronistic events. You have to look at the supernatural. We have death. Something is going to end. Something is going to finish here shortly, very shortly. There is something coming to a completion. Doesn't mean a bad thing. It's just being completed. And it may go away. If this is a relationship, it means that it's done. It's time to move on. It's time to go somewhere else, because we have temperance, bringing patience and balance back in to our life. We have to be patient. We have to have that synchronistic events, that things do not happen overnight. Well, Divine will. He can have those happen just boom, 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 boom. My daughter's seeing that right now because she took the step forward in something and she's like, wow, that happened so fast. I said, because the Divine wanted it to, because this is for your journey. It's time, whatever it is. All right. So definitely huge. You've got a lot of balance coming forward. You got to release this anger, whoever this is, though. You've got a bunch of anger way deep down. And this is a foundational, a core problem that is actually reflecting on the rest of your choices and decisions. And that can even call into your your love life. But you have death coming here of something. Completion. 10, 10, 10. We got 1, 2, 3. How many more? Is there any more? No. Okay. So we have 3 10s. Something's coming 3 times. When you hear a number 3 times, pay attention to it. Because when something ends, you have a new beginning. It's beautiful. You have a new beginning. It means there is something new coming. It's like I was talking about in the very beginning about our potential and our callings. We have a calling. However, sometimes it ends and then we have a new calling. Okay. You know, I still have my horses. That's sort of the horse business, the leather business, that's sort of coming to an end, whereas my spiritual education and my spiritual coaching is growing. So it's time that something goes and something flies. All right. So we're going to talk about love and relationships right now. Okay. So the card that we have pulled for love and relationships definitely is about your process. I have 2 cards? Okay. And that is called Sisters of the Season, Cycles of Growth, Natural Law, Divine Order. What that means is when you have a relationship, I want you to ask yourself, did I or he or she manipulate this to come together, or did the divine bring it together? Did you accidentally meet? Did you all of a sudden meet? Did you guys know each other but then really didn't, know about maybe dating each other? Did it, you have to look at it. Was this a divine interaction so that it's a divine order? Okay? Because that's the cycles of growth. That's when we begin to mature spiritually, is we allow the divine to bring things to us or move us towards something. That's spiritual maturity. But when we have a relationship that oh yeah, is he going to be over? He's going to be over at that store at 9 o'clock. I'm going to try to be over at that store at 9 o'clock. Oh, okay. He works at this time. Oh, maybe I'll drop into his work at that time while he's working, or blah, 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 blah. You're trying to manifest and manipulate something. That is not the way it works. That's not the way it lasts. Put it that way. Majority of the time, very, very teeny percentage, it will last. However, yeah, you need to let it happen by the divine's grace. Okay, I just laugh at this card because, well, I shouldn't laugh, but they misspelled a word. But it's, what do you need to release? Okay, this is a time right now before this full moon to release the things that you need to release. Again, to end, allow the completion to stop. If something is ending, if a relationship is ending, allow it to end. It doesn't mean that it may not come back. It's just the timing is off, or the person is not the right person. Okay, so what is it that you need to release? Is it a job that you need to release? Is it a bad attitude, a negative energy, a negative thought process, some bad habits? What is it that is not for your good that you need to release? Because if you stay in these low vibrational energies, definitely they'll keep you there. They'll find ways to make you think that, just stay here. It's not help. And yeah, definitely. Thank you for the cards. They're very beautiful. Look at the bigger picture. You have to look at not only what is happening now, but look at the bigger picture. In this relationship, a lot of people are so fearful because they've been hurt so much in the past, they can't see the bigger picture with this new person. They think that everything that happened to them in the past, that this new person, this beautiful person of love and light and whatever, is going to bring the bad past with them. You're comparing. You can't do that. When you compare things, and it's apples and oranges, because that person definitely is not the person that you were with before. Even if they have the same hobbies, same everything, their brain and their soul is not the same. So they are apples and oranges, and you cannot compare. Okay, it's the natural law of what divine has for you and the divine order of things, and it's divine's timing, not our timing. Not our timing. This is about your synchronistic events of meeting somebody. This is about how things are spun, how the web begins small. Oh, hello, how are you? Oh, yeah, my name is blah, blah, blah. There's one web. Oh, yeah, would you like to go have coffee? Oh, yeah, sure. That's the second web. Would you like to go to the movies? Oh, yeah, third web. Begin to date. Okay, would you like to? Okay, let's just be friends for a while. 3, 4, 5. Web gets bigger. Then before you know it, hey, would you like to be exclusive? Would you like to, be monogamous? Yeah, okay, boom. Hey, will you marry me? Will you, whatever, whatever. The web gets bigger. That is the creative process of how the divine works and wants things. It's not, hey, how you doing? You want to go to bed? Hey, yeah, oh, this is our first date. Yeah, let's go have sex. Oh yeah, gee, oh, second date. Yeah, let's do that again. That was first time. Third date. Bye, see you later. Whew, that's not how the divine works. That's definitely the low vibrations, and it won't last. All right, you guys. This has been long enough, definitely. However, try to look at the bigger picture. Try to see the bigger picture, but live in the now. Try to look at the future, but live in the now. And look at the potentials of the good of the future, because Cancers, you have a hard time doing that, of the good. Look at the good in the future, not the low vibrational negative stuff. And if you're in a relationship, look at the good of what that relationship is and don't focus in on the negative. That's what the divine order is saying. What you need to release in order to look at the big picture. Release the negative, and the bigger picture is the positive and the good times and the joy. Let those outweigh. All right. I hope this has been good for you, Cancers. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I am still doing the 1 minute dailies. I will continue to do that through June. I will continue to move those through into July if you guys keep liking them. If they're not, then I'm probably going to pull it. So like those 1 minutes if you're watching them. And then again, I'm on vacation the 24th through July 4th. Subscribe, hit the bell, and you'll know when I'm on, when I'm doing bonus ones from Universal Studios in Orlando or Disney World. I'm going to do some live bonus ones from there. And then a full moon reading on the 22nd. Okay. So I just don't know the time yet. Hopefully I'll get that going. I've got so much going on. It's crazy. All right. We'll talk to you soon. Hope this was good for you, resonated for you. And if not, hopefully it resonated for somebody. Please share that with them and it maybe help them in some way or another. All right. Don't forget to walk in absolute love and absolute truth. Take care.